Hey guys, welcome to Switch Pitch number 3. I got two special guests here sitting to my right. Actually, not really. Got Carlos and Riley. What's up going on, guys?
Hey guys, what's going on?
What's happening?
So, we have a bunch of different news for you guys. Our main topic today is how does the future look for Nintendo Switch? And has the library of games grown because of this success, or have the developers been on board from day one? Riley, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think?
I feel like Nintendo probably went window shopping with developers and showed them the console beforehand and got a bunch of the big developers on board. And I feel like now that everyone's seeing the success of the Switch, everyone's starting to come on board. Like we're seeing a lot of indie developers starting to launch their games for it. And I think it's just going to grow the more sales they have.
How about you, Carlos? What do you think?
Yeah, I gotta agree with part of that. They really did have something new and something fresh, and developers got excited early, and they had a good list of developers on board when they announced the Switch. And even currently, one of the games we have in our topics today, they started out on iOS, so they had an Apple app and moved on to the Switch, and it's a fantastic game. Can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's insane what Nintendo's doing. I don't know who's running their advertising, but they're doing a great job. I think they're hyping things up like they're supposed to be doing, and I think this is one thing why Nintendo is gonna do great in the future. They're out of nowhere creating these campaigns for indie games or announcing indie games out of nowhere. I think we have a few different games that have just been announced just in a week. And so this is just one of the reasons why, Nintendo Switch is going to be amazing in the future from now on. So as we keep going in the future, we talk about sales and numbers and money, and this is a big thing of why Nintendo is going to keep growing. So Japan had a good portion of those sales, reporting over 280,000, and Switch sales were just over 74,000. What are you guys thinking about that, Riley?
Um, I think that's crazy. Like right now we're almost at the 3 million mark for the Switch and they've even started like putting Switches out on the planes because the stores are selling them so fast they can't make them fast enough. They doubled production and they're still selling so fast and I think it's just going to keep up.
How about you, Carlos? What do you think?
The way it's looking right now, like you said, 2.7 million units moved. It's hard to really bulk at that number because typically you look at those numbers and they say, well, that's how many were shipped. How many were actually sold? Well, we can confirm they're selling out the day they arrive. So that is an accurate sales number. And if anything, this is only 2 months in and we can't even find one on the store shelves. I'd say clear through the holiday season, we're going to be looking at the same, more of the same.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, we run a Nintendo Switch Facebook group, and we have a bunch of people on there showing pictures of their stock of their WalMarts or Best Buys, and they're flying off the shelves. I mean, they'll be there that day one, but that later that night they're gone. So we know that they're definitely selling here in the United States, and obviously Japan. They're doing great, as I said before. But speaking on sales and games, Mario Kart came out last week. I know you guys have been pretty excited about that, right?
Absolutely. I still haven't received mine from Amazon, which is really disappointing, but I cannot wait to play this game. What about you, Carlos? I know you've been playing it a bunch.
Well, I got two copies, and my first one arrived without any problems. The second one I cleared through Monday and almost would have been into Tuesday, mostly because of shortages. Thankfully, I wasn't one of the ones who got the email saying that they ran out and oversold, but I was one of the ones who got the email saying that the shipment was delayed. So thank you, Amazon, for my $10 credit. I appreciate it. We wish I would have had some local multiplayer over the weekend, but I guess Monday's coming fast. I got both copies. But it is pretty amazing that even though we kind of predicted that Mario Kart was going to do well, Amazon just couldn't keep up, and that's not like Amazon with games. I think it's the first time we've ever heard of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at this point, I think they've broken that 1 million sales figure on Mario Kart, which is incredible. That's 1/3 of Switch owners have that game, and it's
Yeah,
only been out a week.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Amazon is, they've even spoke out and said that this is their number one 2017 selling game right now, and it's just gonna keep getting better, bigger and bigger and better and better. And I'm excited for like what's next for Nintendo Switch, and I'm excited about Mario Kart. Been playing
And
it
it's
all
only
weekend,
May.
and it's only
It's
May.
only May.
It's only
And
May.
usually Amazon doesn't really speak out on, specifics when it comes to either a game of the year or their best-selling products. They'll put like a top seller logo next to certain items, just things that are doing well. But this, they already projected it. I don't see anything topping it. I thought that, Zelda was going to be holding strong, and that was pretty much going to be running through for the next few months until maybe Splatoon. But Mario Kart came out, and people didn't expect it. After the Wii U releasing the exact same game years ago, so many people said they weren't going to pick it up, but I guess the hype was too strong.
Yeah, so our next topic would be total Switch sales. So they've been reported to date 2.7 million units. And we talked a little bit about this last week, so I won't go too much into it. But again, it's just going to get better as more games come out. What are you guys thinking about that, Riley?
Absolutely. Like, I don't know. I haven't bought any of them yet, honestly. Like, I don't see the appeal. They're like, I don't know what it is with these games, but as far as Neo Geo goes, I I can't really get into them. I don't know. I know, Carlos, you've been really into them. What do you think?
Um, yeah, I mean, I have one of those Neo Geo games, but I think I'm gonna have to see what the future holds for those because right now, even though they've sold 200,000 of them, we've got a lot more coming up ahead.
So speaking of sales, Nintendo stated that they were rushing out Switches out. They were going through boats, which they normally do. They were going by plane, which cost them a lot more money, but they weren't really caring very much about that because they wanted to rush to get them out to the store shelves, which I think was a good idea. It definitely, 2.7 more million units spoke, but I wonder how much they lost with that. What do you think, Riley?
I don't think they lost too much, honestly. I think they're trying to like fill that hole, and like because every single store is sold out. I know. Just this week, I went searching for a Switch for the girlfriend, and surprisingly, our EB Games had one in stock left. They got it that day, and they sold all of them within a couple hours, and I got the last one. So I think they might be losing a little bit of money, but getting those sales, they're going to get more developers on board, and just it's really going to be well worth the investment.
I
What about
used
you,
to
Carlos? What do you think?
I used to think that with not having enough supply, that the demand would start to kind of diminish and people would maybe fall off that hype train. But somehow Nintendo just continues to keep doing it over and over again with everything they release. They don't have enough, so it drives people crazy. Scalpers go picking up extra copies of everything Nintendo. People are still going out there every morning seeing if there's a Switch in stock, if the games are in stock, and it just continues and it snowballs until, like I said, holiday season comes around and then it starts all over again. And I wonder, where are these people all year long when the Switch is out? Holiday season's going to come and everybody's going to pretend like nobody owns one.
Yeah, exactly. But Mario Odyssey is gonna come out, and I think the advertising and Nintendo's kick's gonna kick right back in, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, Nintendo!" So, so we actually went to Facebook and we asked, some questions. We asked if people could give them their questions, and a few of the questions that we had. Let me read them out to you guys. So the first one comes from Bella, who's one of our moderators. She says,
So,
"Do you?" What's going on, Bella? Do you think the new 2DS XL will be the last system to be released in the 3DS, 2DS family? I'm gonna start with you, Riley. What do you think?
I have to say it has to be, in my opinion. Like, I don't see them making another 2DS or 3DS or 4DS. I don't know. I don't see them continuing this any longer. I feel like the 2DS is the kind of last squeeze a bit more money out of the DS line, and then they're going to move on to something new. Might be another portable. They might not continue. They might make the Switch the new portable. I don't know what's in store, but I think the 2DS XL will probably be the last one, considering it's a cheap alternative for people who don't have one yet. I think that's a good sign to see that's the last DS probably.
I think that they're going to come out with the TS, with 3 screens. No, I don't think they're going to go that route. But I mean, if they do, I'm patenting it and copyright it and trademarking it. So give me some money, Nintendo. The DS, it's the huge handheld in Japan. There's so many people walking around with DSs, regardless if they're 2DS, 3DS. I think I even saw one of those original DS Fats, and those I don't even remember when those launched, and people still have their DS. I mean, it's a great system, and there's so many games on it. I think I mean there are thousands of games for the DS. It's surprising that they're still going strong with this handheld. So even with the 2DS coming out, I feel they're going to go one more time with another type of DS that's maybe kind of like Apple does, where they release a new with just added features and get just a little bit more out of it. I mean, if it was diminishing or if you saw any kind of decline in sales of DSs, then maybe. But I think this was just to replace that cheese wedge that I like to call
Oh God, I
current
hated
DS.
it.
You couldn't put it in your pocket. You couldn't take it anywhere. I mean, it was more or less just like I don't know, like a TI-81 calculator. It just sits there. You pick it up, does its job, you put it back down. So the 2DS was okay, but this new 2DS XL, people are going to buy it. It's Nintendo.
Yeah. I
And
honestly like. I bought the new 3DS a couple weeks ago, and I kind of regret it now because I kind of want one of these new 2DSs. I don't use the 3D feature personally, and for the price point, it's an excellent buy.
I'd be interested to know how many people in the group that said, "What is this thing even existing for?" How many of them buy it? So look for that question of the day coming after it releases.
yeah, so Nintendo would be pretty stupid for them to stop with the 2DS. I think they've sold millions upon millions of 3DSs, new 3DSs. They know that it's a lucrative way for them to make money. And I don't think they're going to stop there. I think they're going to continue. They might stop with the 3DS like lineup, like she said. But I think for sure they're going to make another like lower end portable, whatever they call it. It might be still stick with the 2DS, like Carlos said, but I just don't think that they're going to stop exactly there. I mean, maybe they'll make a Switch Mini. Who knows? I mean, there's a big rumor for that happening, but even Kimishima said that they do want to start talking about more platforms because they know that people want the 2DS. So, speaking of Mr. Kimishima, oh, we're not there yet, actually. Let's go to the next topic. It is eShop Games of the month of May so far. ACA Neo Geo Blazing Star. Publisher is SNK. This is another Neo Geo game. This GIF looks pretty cool. I know this is actually not the game. It's a side-scroller shoot 'em up. Am I correct? Let me go with Riley.
Yeah, another one. You know how I feel about these games. Like, there's so many of them at this point, and I know it's just a port of an old game, but I can't get into them. It's like it's the first person shooter of the 90s. They've been done into the ground, and I can't put my money into them. What about you, Carlos?
Well, I can see why this GIF has credit 00. Riley is not wasting his quarters, but I don't mind wasting quarters on some of these Neo Geo games. I do plan on picking this up because the classic SNK games, even though everyone knows these from Neo Geo as SNK games, Hamster Corp is really doing a great job in kicking out as many of these as possible to keep up with every week on the eShop, having some presence. And it's paid off because they've so far hit that 200,000 download mark, and that's in less than 2 months. Now, it may not seem like much considering we're talking about 1 day sales of Mario Kart and 1 day sales of, or 1-to-1 with Zelda. But for a game that was released in '98 and older, there's still life in them. And Hamster Corp is doing a great job porting these games using their homemade emulator, and they've promised to bring out more content and improve on that content. So um, if you were to try and find this game in a physical form, you'd be looking at around $200, but that's if you have a Neo Geo to play it on. So outside from emulation, this is your next best thing, and these are quality games. They're not buggy, they're not laggy, they're actually really nice. So good job, Hamster Corp, for reviving Neo Geo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, another Neo Geo game. There's a lot of retro gamers out there, and I know that they love this Neo Geo, thing going on here. So I like it. Keep them coming, Nintendo. Anyways, next eShop game, which was released I think a few days ago, as well as Blazing Star, is Tumbleseed. Tumbleseed is a
Yes.
roly roguelike, is what they call it. Um, I've heard a lot of this is a very challenging game, but I also heard that this has
It
an amazing.
absolutely is.
uh,
Frustrating.
it looks very frustrating from this little GIF that's going on here. I heard that a soundtrack that was pretty awesome.
I have to say the sound is amazing. Like I don't know, I didn't expect it, but I turned it on and I was playing in portable mode, and the soundtrack on this game is incredible. I'm loving it so far. But
and it has HD
I
Rumble.
do have to agree.
How's the HD Rumble? I know Riley's tried this game out.
Fantastic. I have to. It's really nice to get another game that uses HD Rumble. Finally.
Yeah, when I had a chance to play this, and I was looking for HD Rumble, so I was going into it saying, okay, this better have something worth mentioning, because HD Rumble, it's new. No one really knows much about it other than the 1-2 switch game and the balls rolling around in the box. But the HD Rumble works really well on this. You are balancing this seed up the stage, avoiding all these holes in the map. There's some enemies that you kind of have to either avoid or switch to a different ability in order to pass them. And as you progress, you get new abilities. So you're either a standard seed, or you have a seed with sharp objects, or you have, well, I haven't progressed far enough to know all of the abilities, but from what I've seen, you have to switch between them in order to solve these puzzles to get through the stage, and it's really fun. So if you want something challenging, something you can play kind of on the go, there are like check marks every so often, so you can kind of put it down and come back to it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And like one thing I have to say that I found kind of weird when I started it was the dead zones on the Joy-Cons. Has anyone else found that they're a little bit less sensitive than other controllers like the Xbox or the PS4?
I actually
Not really
haven't got
sure.
this game.
I was playing it and it kind of felt natural, but it's not as sensitive as a lot of the Xbox and PS4 games where you have a lot of travel in the analogs, but you're balancing, so I guess it's better that way. A lot of times, if you're getting all of that travel with your analog sticks and you're balancing the seat, you're going to end up tossing it down one of those holes over and over again. But I did see somebody comment that you can adjust that, make it either harder or a little bit easier. I haven't gone into the options to check it out yet, but it's worth maybe at least taking a look. And if any of you out there have played this, feel free to comment.
And for the price tag for $14.99, I think that is awesome. I love that Nintendo's pricing these games right. I mean,
Yeah.
these indie games are like, they give you a lot of replayability, and they have amazing soundtracks, great gameplay, HD Rumble, as you guys talking about earlier. And for $14.99, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, but games like Room the Sky, where it should be like they pay you to try it out and then keep it and then improve on it until it works. Maybe that's the price point that they've got to work out. Games that really don't do so well.
That's very true. So the next game is not out yet. It comes out on May 9th. That is NBA Playgrounds. This is definitely one of the more bigger games that are supposed to be coming out in about a week. The publisher is Saber Interactive. They're known for their work with Microsoft on Halo Combat Evolved and Halo Online. and their work with Bethesda on Quake Championship. Playground allows you 4 players based on two on two, and this is going to have a pretty big cap size on your hard drive. So I recommend anybody that gets this game get a micro SD card. It's a 7.4 gigabyte game, so yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
a
it's
bigger
pretty
game.
massive. For
But
me, I don't know. For me, I'm not huge into sports games, and I think a lot of people are with me on this one. I'm not super into sports games. The one redeeming factor of this game is the art style looks really appealing compared to most sports games, and it makes me want to play it, but at the same time, 7.4 gigabytes, I'm not willing to give that up on my hard drive for a sports game that I might like. If they came out with a physical, I think I'd buy it, but at this point, it's probably not going to be a buy for me. What
Yeah,
about you, Carlos?
you're probably not going to see a physical of this one. Saber kind of, threw their hat in the ring on this. They developed this game. It kind of got a ton of buzz just because of the art, like you said. Rather than going the direction of the 2K18, which is already going to be coming out later, they went with the cartoony style. I don't know if that's playing it safe because of not knowing the limitations of the Switch. I don't know how long this has been in development, but it has been a massive hit already on Twitter and on Facebook. Everybody's talking about it. Everyone's comparing it to NBA Jam, which there is nothing since NBA Jam. And I'm going to be picking it up. And I can guarantee that every time a game drops that has a large file size to it, you're going to see sales on Amazon and you're going to see sales on online for micro SD cards. It happened as soon as the Switch dropped. We had a couple of times we posted in the group about the Amazon deals. So even for 7.4 gigs, if you have a 128 gig card, or if you even go for the 64 gig card, you're probably going to be safe for a while. But you got to keep an eye on those because they are going to sneak up on you with patches. Because eventually you're going to have updates to this game. DLC, the roster is going to extend. So check for that May 9th. I'm excited.
every time I hear or see this game or talk about NBA Jam, I just want to sing like the Space Jam song. Come on and slam. Welcome
Oh
to the
man, I
jam.
just keep yelling "Boom Shakalaka" and "From Downtown" in my head, so I even have it in the chat.
Oh man, I could see like legendary like NBA stars in this game. I don't know. I love the NBA Jam. I am not a sports person whatsoever. I mean, there's a few different games that I actually like that resemble sports. I mean, Rocket League, and then NBA Jam. I don't know the cartoony look and the animation and stuff like that. I love it. So I'm actually excited for this game a little bit. Maybe I'll get it on sale or something, but let's see some more gameplay of it. Next game is just came out of nowhere. I think it was either yesterday. Thumper. Drool made up Brian Gibson, bassist of the brand Lightning Bolts, and responsible for all the art music in the game. So this game was on VR, PlayStation VR, PS4, and PC. This is a rhythm game, rhythm violence game. As you can see here, I have a GIF actually for you guys. It is a rhythm-based game. I know there's a lot of people that love these games. How about you, Riley? What do you think about this game?
Um, like you said, it came out of nowhere. I watched the trailer for it, and I don't know what to expect. It feels like this weird racing game mixed with Guitar Hero, and I don't know what to expect. It feels very action-packed, which I like, but I think I'm going to wait to see more gameplay because I don't know what to expect at this point. It looks very fast-paced, but we're going to have to wait and see. What about you, Carlos?
I was looking this up beforehand just to see maybe they have a backstory, maybe there's a game that maybe nobody knows about. But this team is new. This is their bread and butter. They brought this game out last year. It won a ton of awards, and from there, it's just been nothing but success for them. And so they are bringing it to the Switch. People are excited to get this on the Switch. We don't have any rhythm games right now other than Boas, but we'll have to wait and see when this drops. Looks like they have it set for May 18th. Is that right? Europe and US.
Yes,
sounds
May
right.
18th. Yep.
So we don't have long to wait, and I'm sure we'll see some gameplay trailers in the next few weeks. So as of right now, keep that on your radar, and we'll maybe talk about it next week.
Only re-
It's really nice to get some new games. Like you said, Voice or whatever it's called is the only other rhythm game, and it's really nice to kind of change it up. We've been seeing like a lot of the Neo Geo and a lot of like repeat games, and it's really nice to get a new genre on there and kind of add to that.
the only rhythm game I really like is Stepmania. And DDR. I mean, I played DDR a little bit when I was younger, but bringing that to the Switch or something. I don't know.
Is it a
Y-
stretch to say Parappa the Rapper might be a pioneer of the rhythm games?
Yeah, Prappa Rappa. But Sony has that locked down for some reason, so.
Shaking my fist heavily.
So we're gonna go to the news segment of the show. Leading it is Kimishima. So Kimishima had a Q&A briefing of the fiscal year, and really what he kind of talked about is the sales of the Nintendo Switch and basically what is the future for Nintendo Switch, which is basically the theme of this show. He kind of talked about how they're excited to release the new 2DS XL, and he kind of said that they're excited to add more hardware and more form factors for people. I don't know. It makes me think that they are still in their work to make a Switch Mini. I don't know what you guys think.
The Switch Mini, that rumor. I don't know. They could at some point, but I was actually thinking about it the other day. That's one problem the Wii U had was that gamepad. If you broke it, the only option you had was to send it to Nintendo because they didn't sell the gamepad separately. So I think that's one bonus of a Switch Mini would be that you don't need the dock, you don't need the HDMI cable. It really cuts costs. It would be nice, but I don't see it happening until at least 2020 to see some kind of derivative of this version of the Switch.
Yeah, some of the talking points that I read on this mostly had to do with sales and their predictions, how they kind of estimated where the Switch was going to go after its first month. And even though Zelda was such a huge hit, it was the only hit because they wanted to get the Switch into everyone's hands, and they kind of thought that they were going to be able to keep up with the hardware. And as you noticed, there were plenty of Zeldas out there, and that's why they sold more Zeldas than consoles because we're still
But we'll
fighting to
see.
get those consoles out here. Um, and they're talking about games like ARMS and Mario Odyssey. They're going to be driving more and more Switch sales. So they do have a nice pace that's going to be following over the next couple of months to keep that hype going, keep the sales going, and as I've said many times, clear through the holiday season. And it kind of, to go off topic half a second, I wonder if maybe Sony and Microsoft are going to take a page out of Nintendo's book, and rather than wait to launch during the holiday season when it's the craziest and they're guaranteed those sales, maybe they're going to drop in the spring and then build up to the holiday season and see that money just spread, across that half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Nintendo or not Nintendo, but Microsoft and Sony are for sure trying to see what Nintendo's doing because Nintendo came out of nowhere and took it off, out of the ballpark, and it really is going to give them the idea of trying to switch up their game a little bit because, the whole like, release a game during November, October, September, gaming season. It's okay, you have all that money, but people want to play games in March, April, May, June, July. I mean, you're gonna be able to see that they're gonna buy ARMS. People are gonna buy Splatoon 2, and I think Sony and Microsoft should learn from that for sure.
I think part of this as well, they said that Zelda was going to be the last game for the Wii U. And so people that weren't able to get a Switch or were still on the fence about moving to the Switch, they bought Zelda on the Wii U. And then we still have a couple more games that are coming out. So I don't know if that was strategic or if it was just there's games that they were able to negotiate with Nintendo to get a release on the Wii U. But I can confidently say that the games that they're putting out are stretched out over this period of time for a reason. They're not just throwing them all out there and then leaving the summer for nothing.
Yeah, and I'm glad Nintendo's planning it out like that. They have a lot of games that I'm sure they have, under closed wraps. The last thing, Kimishima, I mean, he definitely went on a big questions and answer thing, but the last big thing he was talking about is that they're planning on shipping 10 million units of the Nintendo Switch this fiscal year. He just said, yeah, we shipped 2.7 more million units last fiscal year, so they're planning on shipping from 10 million units from now until March of next year. Do you guys think that's going to be possible for Nintendo to do that?
I don't know because right now we've seen what is it, 3 million sales, but that's the thing. They were building up that inventory over the course of like 6 months, so for them to more than double that
Yeah.
in what, a year, I don't know if they can do it. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, they said they doubled production, and I don't know if that means that they're actively shipping out, a good amount that are going to lead up to 10 million. And they're businessmen; they've been making video games and video game consoles for years, so they're not going to forecast it, overshooting the mark. If anything, they're undershooting the mark with Zelda, with Mario Kart, and I think that they're going to hit that 10 million mark.
Another thing that they had stated is that they want to hit Wii numbers, and that's one thing I don't know if they're going to be able to hit because that's over 100 million units. I mean, you look at the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 has been out for what, 3 or 4 years, and they're at 60 million.
Yeah, they just hit 60.
They just hit 60, and they still have 40 million to go to even hit that 100 million mark. I don't know if it's going to be able to do anything like that. But
yeah, it's a big goal.
It's a big goal, but I think that they are on the right foot. I mean, anything past the Wii U numbers is success to them because obviously the Wii failed, so.
I'm not sure if it 100% failed. I mean,
Failed on a business, money.
It didn't last as long as they would have expected or hoped. I think that's probably safer to say because they didn't lose. I mean, when they lost money for that year, Iwata took the pay cut and apologized publicly for the lack in sales and the lack of third-party support. So I guess, yeah, in that sense, they did fail. But the Wii U was a good system. I think it was just ahead of its time.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the Wii U. I think the Wii U has amazing games. I have more Wii U games than the Wii. I have probably like 10 Wii U games. I definitely loved it. So as a failure, as an actual system, software-wise, for sure, nah. I think there's a lot of gems in there. But for business-wise, I think that it just didn't reach, as many people.
Well, I guess it kind of says something when I saw in a collector group, somebody said, I finally completed my Wii U collection. I have every game released in the United States leading up, waiting for Zelda. And all of the comments were like, good try, I could have done that in a weekend. There's nothing really that rare for the Wii U. I mean, their total sales up to date, we're looking at 13.5 million, and they want 10 million by the end of the year. So, like your previous gift was, they're printing money.
Yeah, definitely.
They are printing money. So the next topic we have is Zelda. So Zelda Breath of the Wild has released some details on the expansion pack 1. So the expansion pack 1 is going to give you not only these 5 new costumes. You have Majora's Mask, you have the armor costume, Korok Seed costume, Tingle costume, and
everybody's buzzing about Tingle.
Yeah, the Tingle costume and the Minda's helmet. The only one that stands out the most is the helmet because the helmet's supposed to light up, I believe, in certain parts of the game. Yeah, that's the only one that probably stands out the most out of these 5. What else was talked about was they're adding a master or a wave area. I forget the actual name of it.
The Trial of the Sword.
The Trial of the Swords. And it's going to be able to have a beef up master sword. And you'll be able to defeat waves of enemies. And they have a Hero's Path mode, which will be able to show you like wherever you go, the places that you went in Breath of the Wild, which I think is pretty cool.
So needed.
What's that?
It is so needed.
It is definitely needed, and I think a lot of people are gonna have fun with that. And
yeah, especially since you can't have what are those things called, the stickers or whatever they are. That's how I was tracking my movement, and then I found out you can only have 100, which really let me down. It's really nice to kind of like track your movement and see where you've been.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last thing is hard mode. Hard mode is supposed to be crazy hard. The red Bobkins are gonna turn to blue Bobkins, and then enemies also have higher maximum levels than they would in normal mode. This one I think is a little more skeptical out of all of these, only because I feel like they should have just given this to everybody. But I can see that this is definitely justifiable. How about you guys? What do you think? Would you buy this, for example? How much would you pay for just this actual DLC pack?
Just
Nineteen
as
ninety
one
nine.
DLC pack?
Just this one. If they just released one.
Honestly, I'd spend $20 on this one alone. Like this has a lot of content in it, and it really goes to show Nintendo gets their prices right.
How about you, Carlos?
Every other deal,
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
every other DLC for other consoles is like $40 for one DLC pack with the same amount of content. Nintendo just gets it right every time.
Yeah, I can't disagree there because $20, it's right there at that price point where, all right, I can spend $20 and play a little bit more of this game. And 5 costumes is already enough considering DLC on all the other systems. That's how much it almost costs to get a costume pack now. If you have more than like 4 characters, it's $20 in just costumes. So you're getting the costumes, and they actually do things, which it's more than just being able to look at them. The Korok mask. If you're still in the hunt for your 900th seed and you're at 8.99, that mask will at least start vibrating, so you know it's close. But people like me with like 150, that thing's not going to stop ever. So I'm going to probably turn that off and rock the Phantom armor for a while, just because I think it's awesome. But I mean, hard mode alone, giving you more to play, the trial of the sword, which I don't want to call it horde mode because it really isn't. But I want to say 45 rooms to play. That's a lot of content. Even if they didn't even have to do much developing to make this a thing, it's still a lot to do. I still have so much to do, and I already beat the game without all my memories. So 180 hours, I'm probably going to put in another 100 just based on this first DLC pack.
Yeah,
And there's still what? How many more is there? 2 or 1?
there's
One more after this.
There's one more pack. Yeah.
That's crazy value for $20.
And you have games like Destiny where you're constantly just getting one extra mission, and you've got more weapons that basically make your other ones invaluable or
Yeah.
worthless. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that they priced this out right. I think that the next one's gonna be about the story. It's all gonna be about story missions and stuff like that, and a new part of the map or something like that. I definitely think that they priced it right.
what if DLC pack 2 he goes back to sleep for another 100 years?
Oh,
It all started
Amazing.
200 years ago.
So the next thing, speaking of Breath of the Wild, the version 1.2.0 is out. Update. The biggest thing that comes out of this update is they added new languages to the
In-game
game.
audio.
In-game audio. So if you want to listen to this game in Japanese, which I think is pretty cool. I think a lot of people in the group are saying, "Oh my god, I want to listen to this the storyline in Japanese." So I don't know what do you think about it, Riley?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at the Japanese audio option. I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it's much better than the English version, and I have to say that's one of the biggest things I have with this game is the voice acting is kind of off-putting to me. I don't know. There's a couple characters that I'm like the
Sidon.
voices just don't match the characters. What about
Sidon's
you?
awesome though.
I like Sidon.
He kind of matches. I personally am going to play the DLC pack, the hard mode in German and maybe Russian. I want some kind of an intense language to really drive it home.
Nine
I
nine
never
nine.
imagined Link speaking. Right.
Zelda in
So I
Russian.
think that'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want somebody to stream that. So if you're listening and you're going to play it in Russian or German, stream that. I'd share it.
So away from Zelda Breath of the Wild, that was definitely one of the biggest talks from Zelda. But next thing we have is a new ARMS character, DNA Man, which I like to call Mr. Blob or the Blob.
Mr. Flubber.
Flubber.
Flubber, yes, hashtag Flubber.
Hashtag. Oh man, his eye goggle reminds me of like maybe Star Trek or something like that. I don't
Oh,
know.
and that goofy mouth he has.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like him. Some people weren't really about him, but I think he looks pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think that's the really nice thing about this game is there's so many different characters and they all have their own personality. I think there's going to be a fighter for everyone and everyone's going to get into this game and have their own person.
I think the translation for DNA Man was early, and it was kind of a rough translation. But it looks like for the English market and European market, he's going to be called Helix. So
Oh, nice.
we'll have Helix as the DNA Man in Japan.
Oh, DNA Man is Japanese only?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. It's translated DNA Man, but it really means Helix in English.
Oh,
So you'll see Helix when you choose him in the character select.
makes sense. Well, this is the
But
Japanese picture, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
Kevin in
he's
the
gonna
chat
be,
says Ninjara is his main, and I have to agree. Best character.
yeah. Well, there's still plenty of time to decide. I think Min Min is going to take it. You know,
I do like Min Min.
I don't think I'll choose Flubber, but Min Min's going to get my time.
And speaking of Helix or DNA Man, he has different colors, skins, costumes that was leaked out.
We have
My
four
biggest
colors now, don't we?
yeah, it's like I think yeah, four colors. My whole thing with this is that I think that Nintendo with ARMS is they're trying to kind of go to the League of Legends slash Overwatch
yeah,
route
for
with
sure.
this with the costumes, which I like. I love Overwatch, and I digged League of Legends at the time. I wish that they would, if they're gonna do that kind of thing, spin it maybe. Add the Blob or make the whole guy make the Jurassic Park DNA guy or something. I don't know, like put some different costumes in there that's gonna like stand out to everybody. The whole
Yeah,
like
not
green,
just free colors.
yeah, the recolors are cool. Maybe those are just the basic ones you can choose, kind of like how like Super Smash Brothers is. But I want to see like more different costumes in this. How about
Yeah,
you, Riley?
a lot like Overwatch does, where you have the couple of recolors, and then you kind of like build it up. You have the purple skins, which they're kind of different, but they're almost recolors, but they're a little bit more complex. And then you have the legendary skins, which are just completely different costumes that look badass unless you're playing Zarya. And then and it's really nice. It gives some variety to the characters, and it lets you work towards the goal of getting those skins.
And what we're looking at here is a lot more potential out of this game. We looked at it at first and thought, you know, is ARMS really going to be that, you know, fantastic? Are people going to pick it up? And the hype just keeps building every week by week. The color palettes, even the fans in the stands. Oh, we haven't even gotten to that.
Oh yes, we haven't even gotten to that. There was another costume. I think we talked about it last week. It was like gothic ribbon girl or something. That was pretty cool looking. So yeah, speaking of the fans, ARMS will have their own sponsors or their own like fans.
Yeah, if you look in the crowd, you can see them in the Nintendo Direct, but not many people noticed them. They match the fighter.
We talked about this last week, didn't they? Didn't we? I remember we were like looking at the fans in the background, and we're like, they all have their own like their own characters' masks and stuff like that. So now they like straight up said, hey, they're gonna have
I
them.
think the Mummy stood out the most. I was looking at the Mummy when they were fighting, and I saw the Mummy in the stands, and I was like, "Oh, they've got a couple people in costume." But now it makes sense. It's intentional.
And after that's all the ARM stuff we have actually. The next is we're going to talk about a little bit of Snake Pass. I played a lot of this game. So this is Snake Pass's after the 30 days. So they kind of went through different things that they did in the past 30 days. They said the higher you climb, 88 million meters. The never skip wing days. They did 16 days, the total amount of time Doodle has lifted Doodle's tail. This is a lot
Oh, yeah,
of
Carlos.
yeah, this is a lot of analytics they have got going on here. Just keep slithering. They have 154 million meters, the total distance Noodle traveled all over the Snake Pass. And then Snake. Oh, I like this. This is a Metal Gear Solid. Um, Falling 2 million. Hot Coals is 163 million. Spikes 142 million. And let's keep going on there. And they said that they're gonna have a new update, which is gonna improve, I believe, some of the physics and stuff on the game.
Oh, nice.
Does,
Did
does
you
it
guys
seem
play?
strange that they have all of these stats? Like a game that didn't seem to really have much more than just a eShop presence, and they were able to successfully get pretty accurate reporting on how many times you died and how. That's a lot of data going back to them.
I like that.
I
That's pretty
love
cool.
it so much to see on a game that most people picked up, but if you haven't yet, there's plenty of people out there playing it. And it's a fun, different style of controlled game.
I did pick up this game. I am going to have a full review on the We Play Switch channel, so stay tuned for that. But my slight review on it is I like it, but it needs more. That's all I'll say on that.
I
Uh,
have to agree with that because I played it and I was like, I love this game, but I would have rather paid $40 and got more out of it rather than just 15 levels. I would have rather paid 40 and got, some enemies, some combat of some type, more levels. It would have been really nice because it's a good base for a game.
If you don't take time to collect the coins and find everything on every level, you can run through it fairly quickly,
oh
but
yeah.
you'll miss
Yeah,
quite a bit,
definitely.
and it really adds to the value of the game what you have to accomplish to get those extra coins. So don't rush through it. No speed runners
No speed running. All right.
or speed slithering.
Speed noodling. So next one is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This was taken off of Instagram. This is one of the composers, and they said that it is wrapped. The Chronicles 2 soundtrack is completely done, which basically leads us to believe that the game is coming out in 2017, like Nintendo keeps saying over and over and over again. I am really excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. How about you, Riley?
Yes. Um, you know what? I have to say now that they've finished the soundtrack, I really hope that they announce it at E3 because there's that gap after Splatoon between Splatoon and Mario Odyssey. There's that like 4 month gap where nothing really coming out as far as AAA games go. So this would be the perfect game to put in between those. What do you think, Carlos?
One thing I can say now is that if amiibos are going to drop, now's the time and go grab them because they're not going to be around when the game drops.
Especially near the holiday season.
I'm excited for the soundtrack for this game, though. I mean, I played Xenoblade Chronicles X a lot, and the soundtrack plays over and over again in the game, and you definitely sing the little tune. It's very catchy, so I'm excited for that. Next, we have a game that's a multi-plat game, but it's coming to the Switch called Death Squared. Death Squared is by SMG Studios, and it looks like a more of a puzzle game. We have Lindsay that plays a lot of puzzle games that's on our team. I'm sure she's really excited for this game. How about you, Riley?
I watched some gameplay of it. I have to say, it reminds me of Snipper Clips for some reason, as far as like the teamwork building goes. And I really am looking forward to like a 3D Snipper Clips. That's going to be really enjoyable.
I can see that. I can see 3D snipper clips with this game for sure. How about you, Carlos?
Well, I was looking at the gameplay, and it is out now on Xbox One and PS4, and of course Steam. And these kind of puzzle games are very unique. I love how the teamwork is the main way you have to beat these. Some of the puzzle games, it's best to play on your own because they're very difficult to get people to work together. This one is a perfect example of a game that works well when you're working towards a goal and it's a puzzle. So if maybe you get the puzzle a little bit better than someone else and they're struggling, I mean, it's multiplayer, it's teamwork. You can help them out and complete the goal. So if you haven't already, take a look at some of the gameplay. It's supposed to drop Q2 as far as I'm aware for the Switch, but it's already out on other platforms.
It says exclusive levels on the Nintendo Switch, so ooh.
Ooh, that's nice.
Exclusivity. Ooh. We don't get to
Finally.
hear that much with Nintendo unless it's a Nintendo IP, so exclusivity is always a good thing.
So the next segment that we have, or actually, sorry, the next topic in the news is something that came out of nowhere. I think it was more of a breaking news. Rhyme will not be coming to the Switch this month. I don't want to scare you guys with that, but
I was gonna say.
I know, right? It is
I
coming
was checking my notes, like, oh my god.
I know. I was making sure you guys are keeping track, but yeah, it is not coming to the Switch this month. It is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One this month, but it says soon for the Nintendo Switch, which makes me sad because I was really excited for this game. It's that, kind of puzzler Zelda-esque game. I don't know what you guys thought about it.
I have to agree. I had it pre-ordered, and it really saddened me to see it change to delivery date pending. I was like, no. So many of these games are getting pushed back, and it sucks. Like, what is it? Yoko Lele, Troll and I. There's a lot of them that were like meant to release on the Switch, but they got pushed back to later in the year. It's unfortunate, but I'm still gonna pick it up.
I'm kind of okay with the delays only because so many people were pissed off at Zelda with their frame drops, and it wasn't even that bad. You had the certain enemies that, if they were on the screen, they would kind of slow things down, and they fixed that in their first couple of patches. So I don't want to have more games where people only focus on these frame drops. We've got games that are coming out that are going to be 1080p and 720 on handheld, both 60 frames per second. So if maybe a game like this is having some frame issues, or maybe just running on the Switch, they have to tweak it, I say go for it. Rather than disappoint and rush something out. A lot of people talk about not pre-ordering because it kind of holds developers to putting out a quality product instead of kind of beta testing with the world and saying, here's what we have, we'll patch it later. So
And
I
we
haven't
have
pre-ordered. When it comes out, it'll come out.
we have Katie in the Facebook saying, "So excited for Rhyme. Sad to see it pushed back. Semi-open world puzzle adventure game. More playable than Myth-looking game. Are you guys disappointed that Rhyme is being pushed back for release?" So yeah, I mean, again, like you said, the textures of this game are insane. I mean, look at this little GIF here. You can see the water and the textures of the water. So I know they're having frame issues with the Switch. They're probably like, oh, whatever, PlayStation 4, easy to push it to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and they're probably just having trouble with the frame issues. I am disappointed, and I know you guys are as well. So
Yeah, like Carlos said, I'd rather it be delayed, honestly. Xbox and Sony are so notorious for that at this point, for rushing games out. Ubisoft, they rush the games out and then patch them, and it doesn't make you want to buy them on release day. You get so like nervous about doing it because you know the game's going to be broken, and I'd much rather have it just wait for it and have it be perfect.
Yeah, I remember a while back when Gears of War first launched, and they were kind of holding Cliffy B to a deadline, and they told him, when's it going to launch? And, he was nervous about the launch date. Things weren't ready, and they told him it's going to be available on launch date. They didn't give him an option to push it back. And it's kind of been the trend where if they put out a launch date, they're dropping it that day, and they'll just patch it later. But I think Rhyme deserves the time it takes to put quality back into this and give us a perfect product, at least to begin with. And if they want to add some levels or add some content, I'd be down to continue playing this. It's different because there's no actual like fighting in this game. You have to manipulate the environment in order to advance, like making animals in the environment do things in order to clear paths. It's intriguing to see how this game is going to help you progress through it without actually having any combat. So
it looks like the Last Guardian. It looks like a Zelda type of game. It looks like a lot of different games, and I'm really intrigued, and I love those games. So I am excited for this game. let's go to our next topic. Next topic is rumors. So I'm gonna let you guys know. Take everything that we say with a grain of salt before we talk about them because we could be wrong. So, first rumor is Wonder Boy. The developers are working on a physical release of Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. I'm actually excited about this because I do want to end up picking up this game because we have a full review, or not a full review, a first impressions of the actual game by Riley, and he gave me the idea of playing this game. So I'm really excited for it to coming out in physical. So what do you think about this, Riley?
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. Like I said in my first impressions, I'm loving this game, and to have it on physical would just be even better. I think a lot of people are holding out for physicals on a lot of eShop games that will probably never happen. But to get this, I think this is at that price point where producing it on physical would be worth it because they'd get extra sales out of it. A lot of people don't like buying eShop games; they don't have the micro SD, and I think it would really boost sales for them.
I don't know why, but this game kind of gives me a feeling of like Little Nemo from NES. Any guys get that kind of like feeling when you play this? I mean, the artwork,
A
the
little bit.
gameplay. That's all I can think about when I play
Little
it. So
Nemo
that's
the
what
movie or the video
Little
game?
Nemo, the Dream Master on NES.
Oh, okay. There's a video game called Little Nemo, I believe.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. The NES game, Little Nemo, the Dream
I
Master.
didn't know they made an NES game. That's kind of cool, actually.
Oh yeah. I've been playing this. It is a little bit difficult because I'm kind of being stingy with my money. I don't want to buy armor and weapons and stuff because I know every level I'm kind of advancing and I'm getting it anyway. So I'm kind of forcing myself to take my time to this game because it is really fun. Um, and I know a lot of people complain about they're stuck as a dragon, but they haven't actually played through the game to figure out the actual story of it. So keep playing it. Don't give up on it.
Never give up. Never give up. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Next topic or rumor. Arms new mode leaked. So there was a picture on Reddit that showed the back of the box of Arms, and it shows like the how many players can play the game, and one of them was 4v4. So we already know about 1v1 and 2v2. So I guess there's going to be 4v4 with Arms.
Oh, that would
Uh,
be crazy.
but people are going crazy about that. Uh, what do you think about that?
I
I
think
like. It's going to be so hectic. Can you imagine playing 4v4 on this? Like 2v2 would be crazy enough, but like having to worry about two different opponents at once.
Maybe only
It would,
online. Because
yeah,
2v2 is cool, like when you're on the Switch or whatever. But 4v4 would be something we'd probably better online.
looking at it and the size of the arena and everything that's going on, I can't imagine that you would be able to really get away with 4 versus 4. But I mean, for the wrestling fans out there, Royal Rumble every year, that ring gets full up and it's just chaos, and that's probably what's going to add fun to it. Having that mode just because. If they don't, then 2v2 is fine. It looked like a lot of fun in the Nintendo Direct. But I can't imagine anything more than 2v2 and local multiplayer because you just don't have the room. You're just going to end up, punching the person
yeah,
next to
definitely.
you for real. So, I mean, playing 1-2 Switch, you kind of have to clear a little bit of room just because of the modes. You really do have a lot of movement. So, I don't see 4v4 local. I think online you might just get a room there where it's like Royal Rumble or some kind of battle royale, and that's going to be where you get eight players. Or maybe it's like a Tekken tag. You tag people in and out.
That's pretty true. It says the number of players online and locally is two to eight. So it doesn't even say 4v4. It just says from 2 players to 8 players. So I guess we're using our imagination with 4v4. Maybe it is a tag system.
I'd say it has to be a tag system. I mean, it looks like a boxing game. It's arms. There are different kinds of arms that you can use. You can even have 2 different arms to customize your fighting style. So if you're doing these long distance boxing matches, there's no way you could really get all those people in the ring effectively and it be um, not saying like Smash Brothers where you have all those people at the same time and it works, but this is just too much long range for that many people.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. next biggest news, well, biggest thing ever.
Do
It
we really want to bring it up?
it's not Super Mario RPG X Rabbids Invasion. It's actually Mario Cross Raving Rabbids. So it's gonna be the name they're quoting is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Um, this was first announced. We went over actually a long time ago when it was just the Nintendo NX, and Laura Kate Dale was giving us a bunch of rumors. This was one of them, the Mario and Rabbids crossover, and no one heard anything of it. It just went into the dust. We had the presentation, we didn't get that, and then Direct came out, no one got that, and I think they're just holding on to this rumor. The first actual person was a French website, game blog, and it was actually called Yoshi slash Rabbids crossover, which was the first rumor. But now it's actually Mario and Rabbids crossover. I'm really excited about this because I've actually never played a Rabbids game, so I don't really know very much about Rabbids. They look like minion characters, like rabbit minion characters. But I'm just so excited about the RPG element of this rumor. If this is true, and we're using the same engine that South Park's using, and the same engine that the Division's using, and it's going to be turn-based combat, oh my god.
Yeah, it would be
Please.
really good because one of my favorite Mario games out there is Mario and Luigi Dream Team. It's such a good RPG and it's so different from every other Mario game out there. It was really refreshing, and I think getting another one adding rabbits into it would be so cool.
How about you, Carlos? Are you rabbiting it up?
I don't know. I've never been a fan of rabbits. I mean, I got it on the Wii just because I wanted to see what it was about, and I just never got into it. And this just doesn't seem like for me. But
How about Super Mario
I'll hit
RPG? Did
it.
you play that on
Yeah, I
SNES?
played that, and I enjoyed that. But I really wasn't too focused on playing that game at the time. I was probably sucked in some Street Fighter around that time.
That is true. That is true. You're a Street Fighter fan. Um, I guess I'm a big RPG fan. I think that's what that gets me the most is that it is supposed to have this RPG element. It just I don't want them to do this sticker star RPG thing that's like Paper Mario RPG thing. I want them to be very open worldy RPG thing because I don't know they can do so much with this game if they could, and I don't know where the rabbits fit in. So I'm really curious where the rabbits fit in with this. Um, this is huge news. I'm glad that they're talking again. This is Kotaku actually, who was the source of this news article. So um,
I feel
the
like
next
Taco gets lucky once in a while. Like they throw
they
a dart
do.
at a dartboard and make up news sometimes, but they really do get a lot of the like breaking news. But I just I'm not really following this game.
All right. Well, next topic is Carlos's question of the day. Day.
Question of the day. So
Take it away,
I
Carlos.
started this. I started this segment just because I wanted to see maybe in case we had weeks where we didn't have much to talk about. Maybe if we had a slow week for news, we'd be able to pull the members of the group and see what they have to say. So if you guys can't see the GIF going, hop on the YouTube or the Facebook group.
A
But
plus.
the yeah, that's quality right there. Love the Garfield though. So the question of the day polls. We're going to try and keep these as interesting as possible week by week, and hopefully they'll give you guys a little bit back as to what everybody else in the group is playing, what they think about the games that are dropping, and what we think. So um, the first poll for this week was about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. How much are you actually playing it? The biggest thing about this was Mario Kart had all the hype, and even though the library continues to slowly grow, there's a lot of games out there now. My pile of unfinished games just continues to grow. So I wanted to see if people are maybe like me, playing a little bit here and there and going back to other games. So the top of the votes lean towards people playing it fairly often, but they're going back now and again to other gamers just like me, which I kind of expected. I mean, you guys are probably doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, I have so many games at this point that I think the only game I've actually finished at this point is Mr. Shifty, which I basically sat down for 10 hours and no life for that game. That was really fun for me, but every other game still unfinished, and I really need to get in there and start finishing some of them up.
What about you? How are you looking, Justin?
Well, I've been playing. I'm actually been playing Persona 5. Don't kill me, guys. Don't kill me. But
Traitor.
I know, traitor. But I wish it came to the Switch. That's my call out to
It's
Nintendo.
definitely a Switch focused game. Like I could easily see it on the Switch.
I've actually was listening to some podcasts where they're like, this is a game that would be better portable. You had Persona 4, which was amazing on the Vita. Why not bring it to the Switch? Come on, do it.
Maybe it's around the corner.
Maybe.
I think, like we mentioned in the very, very beginning, maybe devs are just hopping on board the hype train because it's doing so well. Maybe that dev wasn't one of the ones that was on board early on, and maybe we'll see that in the future.
Maybe.
But as far as the votes go, most people they're kind of coming back to it. It is Mario Kart, and historically Mario Kart's been like a couch party. You have your friends over and you play, and it's a good time. Now that we have the online play and attention spans have shortened over the years, we're kind of jumping between games to kind of fill time, and then going back to Mario Kart. So 17 people said they play it all the time. Get on Discord, get in the group that we made, and let's race. Because if you're on all the time, that means when we're jumping back and forth, we got somebody to race, right? And then everybody else is still hunting for a Switch. So you always keep that in the options for those who are here and supporting the Switch members and the fans. So we'll help you try and get one. Just be patient. We haven't seen any in-stock alerts, but we'll keep them coming. The next one was NBA Playgrounds. We only have a couple of days left until this drops, and we're already seeing some people enjoy this game. I thought this was going to explode. I mean, there were so many people that were blocking NBA Jam in the arcades, and I was like, you know what? When this comes to consoles, this is going to be fantastic. And it was. And now I'm looking at this, and I'm like, it's going to blow up. It's going to be amazing. And no one's really talking about it in the group. We have seen some of those dedicated ones dropping nonstop. Who's excited for Playgrounds? Who's playing Playgrounds? Who's heard about Playgrounds? We hear you. We're definitely
Who's in the playground right now?
That's right. Who's on the playground? But a majority of the votes were not interested. But in second, they're going to wait, but they're still interested. And third, they're going to pick it up. So at least there are some people that I'll be able to go online after a few days, according to some reports and play. I guess maybe that's good. Get some local multiplayer going, or get to learn the controls and how the gameplay works. But if you're out there, pick it up. We'd love to play online once it's ready, and look for more downloadable content, more players, and maybe some alternate costumes. We don't know. And then finally, the Neo Geo games in the eShop. With the news of the 200,000 downloads of the ACA Neo Geo games by Hamster Corp, I wanted to see how many people actually were buying them in the group, and it looked like a majority of the votes said they don't own any. And that may be due to the games that are available right now. Samurai Showdown was the only one that I picked up just because I'm a fighting game fanatic, and I loved playing Samurai Showdown. But Neo Geo games, they just talk to a specific audience. So once you finally get those games that you enjoyed, or maybe that one that you played in a multicade in the arcade, then maybe you'll buy one. But as of right now, majority don't own any, and the next vote down from that, 63 people bought at least one, like me. But I did have a side topic on this one just to give it a little bit of extra voting room just for this topic, because I didn't want to bring it up twice. The price point, $7.99. What did people think? Everyone voted that $7.99 is about just right, and I agree. $7.99 is a great price for a 15-year-old game. Unless it's by Capcom, which we all know they will charge you full price every time they re-release it. So, but next week we'll have more polls for you. One's active right now, based on the UK Nintendo Twitter poll. What is your favorite Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track? There are 4 tracks up there now, so go ahead and vote on those. One of them was Bowser's Castle. We got Yoshi and Link and I can't remember what the fourth one was, but all four of those are up right now. Put your vote in. If you don't like those, comment below. Maybe we'll give it an honorable mention if enough people talk about it. But that's all I got for question of the day, and we'll have more questions next week.
Thank you, Carlos. So, keeping it to questions, I'm going to add another question from the group. We asked a few different questions, and I'm going to add another one from Jimmy Tracy Knotts. What are your thoughts on Nintendo getting third-party AAA titles like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or Battlefront, Resident Evil? Will it happen or not? I'm gonna say, of course. I know they're working with AAA titles or AAA companies like Ubisoft and Square Enix and Bethesda and EA. EA definitely wants to see what the Nintendo Switch does, and of course, I mean, look at EA. Almost 3 million in the first month. You gotta be supporting the system. Get your devs on this system. Come on. Resident Evil, get it on here. Get Call of Duty on here. Get all these video games on here. What do you guys think?
I kind of want to comment to EA real quick. I don't want to jump in, Riley's spot, but EA will bring a game out to your 4-year-old's Toys R Us tablet if they could. They want the money. DLC content, buy the entire game before even having to play it so you have the advantage. Money, money, money. So EA is going to come to Switch. We knew that before it was even announced. But the games that we want, they're going to make us wait. I already know. It's just going to happen. They want to test out the platform, see how they do. And the AAA titles, they'll eventually come. I think it's kind of who's going to jump in the water first and then see how it does before everybody else does. But with the online still not being available, games like Call of Duty, they're just not going to be there yet. So until the online is solidified and we see some success out of some AAA titles, I think it's going to be a slow rollout.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I have to comment on is like some of these games I just can't see on the Switch. Like Battlefront, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think the Switch would be able to handle these really heavily graphic intensive games, or would they have to be kind of like
They'll be dumbed down, I
to
think.
be able to work?
They'll be dumbed down
I
for
think
sure.
so too.
Didn't they have a Call of Duty on the Wii U, and people were kind of complaining that it was more focused on the sensor bar motion controls than anything, and it kind of took away from the Call of Duty franchise on the Wii?
Yeah, there were some people that didn't like it, and then there were some people that they like love that Call of Duty. They had to live by that Call of Duty. And I've heard like a flip floppy. I don't know about Call of Duty, Battlefront, and I agree with you, Carlos. I think that they need to focus on the online before those companies to even like come on board on the Nintendo Switch, and I think that they're waiting for that. For like Resident Evil or like any of the bigger games, Assassin's Creed, they're not using online capabilities. They can do that, and they can dumb the graphics down a little bit. And I know that they're probably going to do that. It's fine with me. Bring me Resident Evil 7. I haven't even bought in the game yet. I'll buy it on the Switch and play it as a go.
Isn't that kind of what they did with the Vita? They came out with like Vita-specific games that gave you at least something to play portable. I think that the Switch has more than enough capability to play a full version of the game without dumbing it down too much.
Oh yeah.
But I'm thinking that the Vita, with the success that it had with this, the games that were on it that really did well, they speak to the ability of being able to play something portable and still be fun. Add the online element, and I think once again Nintendo just printing money.
Printing that money. All right, and our last segment of the day, Best of eShop. We want to kind of do this every 2 weeks. We probably don't want to drain out this every single week. So 2 weeks ago, the top 15 games. I'm gonna run them real quickly for you guys. So. Number 1, Zipper Clips. Number 2, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. 3, Graceful Explosion. 4, Fast RMX. Mr. Shifty. Number 5. 6, Snake Pass. 7, Hasbro Heroes. 8, Jack Party Pack 3. 9, Lego City Undercover. 10, Binding of Isaac. 11, 1-2 Switch. 12, A Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 13, Metal Slug, the first one. 14 is Blaster Master Zero. And 15 is Metal Slug 3. Now, the best of the eShop right now, I think as of like maybe an hour ago, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is number 1. Puyo Puyo is number 2. Komiko is number 3. Zipper Clips still killing it after 2 weeks. Still getting up there, number 4. Number 5 is Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Number 6, Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. 7
Woo!
has hey woo. 7 has been Heroes, which is still up there, and number 8 Fast RMX, which is still up there. Number 9 Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I believe was 12. It looks like people are still buying this more digitally from 2 weeks ago than now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just, hey, you
Finally
know,
getting a console.
hey, it's selling. Go for it, Zelda. Number 10, a game that just came out maybe 3 or 4 days ago, Tumbleseed. 11, Mr. Shifty. 12, Jackbox. I'll never be able to say that name right. Jackbox Party Pack 3.
The tongue twister.
I know. 13, Binding of Isaac Afterverse Plus. 14, Snake Pass, and 15, Poor Little 1-2 Switch. But you know
How
what?
is it still on the
It's
list?
still on
Someone's
there.
still
People
on
in
it.
Japan love 1-2
Hanging
Switch.
on.
People in Japan love that game. And hey, I think that game is cool. I just don't know if I'd pay $60 for that game.
No way.
Hey,
20
drop-
bucks at most.
$20 to $25, maybe 30 max. I'd buy it. So, what is the game that stands out the most out of this list?
I'm not surprised in the least that Mario Kart 8 is number 1, but honorable mentions to Puyo Puyo. I did not think it would make it to number 2. I don't know why. I thought that there wouldn't be that big a following to it, but I love this game. It's up there with Mario Kart. It's so fun, has so much replayability. Playing this competitive is so much fun.
And playing on Discord, a little bit of smack talk while you're playing. It's actually it actually enhances the game. So get in our Discord chat. Make sure that you're looking for us. Shout us out. We'll play with you. And we got some Tetris Kings and Queens. So we want to make sure that you guys get a chance to play some of us.
And the one thing that stands out for me, I agree with you, Riley. Puyo Puyo Tetris. We have Lindsay, who's on our team, who loves this game. She wants to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but she just goes back to Puyo Puyo Tetris. So it tells you that the game's fun, it's intuitive, it's challenging, and the online gameplay is fun. Pick up this game, guys. I'm telling you, I think if you're a Tetris fan, pick up the game. If you're a puzzle fan, pick up this game. It has an adventure mode, by the way. It has a storyline. The storyline is cute. It has this chibi characters. I think they're really cute. They're very intuitive, and the storyline's pretty cool too. I don't think this game is game of the year or anything like that, but it's still a fun game. One game that definitely stands out as well is Kamiko. This game is a short game, but it's also a $5 game. It's a very retro style type of game. It's 8-bit pixel art, but it's beautiful. Another thing that stands out to me is the tongue twister, Jackbox Party Pack 3. Jackpack. I want to say Jackpack. It was number 8 last week. It's number 12. It's still kicking in there. It tells you that this game is a party game. Pick up the game. People love it at parties, and I think you will as well. So that is the end of our show. What is your predictions for next week's top 5? Please let us know. My name is Justin.
And I'm Riley.
And this is Carlos.
And as always, until next time, have fun switching it up.